Hello, Pete. How are you today?
Very good. I take it you haven't heard back on those letters you sent about, was it Coppermine Brook?
Nope. Well, I got an email from Von Granter today after I sent out that one that you received again today. He said, speaking to some of the people concerned, I raised the concerns with the ministers. Well, I can tell Von Granter now that I'm still dealing with 2 or 3 people from his own district who did not speak to him, who has been trying to speak to him, and who has, as we speak this minute, has not received a reply from either minister or their MHA, and I had no idea why this embargo is on this site.
So your implication is these ministers in particular and Mr. Granter, they're kind of hiding on this, that they don't want to fess up and say what it's all about, why these people can't pass along their properties or keep them, essentially. They're on the chopping block.
Or sell them, or they can't sell them.
Or can't sell them, no.
They can't transfer them, no. Pete, it's amazing. It's almost like getting to a police state whereby they can walk in. Just imagine if someone walked in your house now. You're living in your house. You're living by all the rules and regulations, built by every permit necessary, and you want to transfer it to your daughter, and they're saying, no, you're not allowed. Why? We're not telling you.
Yeah, it's like, at the very least tell me. The only reason then you assume they can't tell you is because it's not a very good reason.
Or it may be a reason, but they're not trying to work with the people who own the cabins or the towns to try to work out a solution. It's almost to the point where if
clearly there's no solution other than the one they've selected. For whatever reason they're doing this, there's no wiggling around in it. It's a done deal, and they want this to happen. They're going to make it happen.
Well, what it is, though, people are there, and I know 2 in particular, one in particular who wants to sell it. They physically can't get there anymore, but they're not allowed to sell their own cabin. They don't know why. They can't. They can't get an answer from this government for almost 15 months. It's almost like a police state. And for Von Granter to send me an email that said, I spoke to some of my residents or constituents, so just assume he did. So is there only PC districts that you can find out what the issues are? Because people live in Kerning area, no one will tell them the answer? Or if they live up in Corner Brook and Humber East now, no one will tell them the answer? Is that the way the government is running?
Well, we're going to find out. Now, listen, what if, I'm just going to throw a what if at you. What if it's a situation where there's a major industrial opportunity that's going to provide all kinds of jobs and economic stimulus to the area, and they can't divulge right now because it could blow the whole thing, so they've got to stay mum on it, but there's a very good reason and a solid reason and an acceptable reason for them doing this. I mean, that's the only thing I can see that would justify what they're doing, even if it does then.
The only thing I can see is if there's a problem with some type of sewer system that's there.
Well, they would say that then, though. I can't imagine why they.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you because there has been an issue there, and there has people that worked around it. That's the only thing. Industrial, not a chance, Pete.
No.
They haven't created nothing industrial on the West Coast for the last 11, 12 years. They ain't going to start now.
It's called Coppermine Brook, so I assume that there must have been some mineral exploration.
That was years ago, yeah.
Okay.
But there's no exploration, nothing on the go out to now. I'm out to on a regular basis, Pete.
Now, Eddie, I started off asking you about this. Is this what you were calling about even?
Yes, it was, yeah.
Okay.
That's
right.
exactly it. Pete, I just find it so frustrating. And then, like I said, can you imagine you're living in your house, you've been living there, paying all the taxes, everything is up to snuff on the permits, and then you went and want to transfer your house or your cabin to your daughter, they say you're not allowed. Well, why not? Don't know, you just can't. So once you try to transfer it, what they do, they got a hold on Newfoundland Power. So if you transfer it to your daughter cannot get electricity or lights in your building because it freeze. It's just unbelievable. I can't get Tony Cornick, Dan Cromwell, I don't mind because I've seen what he did to people out in New York over Larkham, an amalgamation. They showed up to a meeting that he arranged. I could see that. Von Granter saying how he's selling these 2 ministers down the drain by saying, I spoke to him. So obviously they're aware of it. Obviously Von Granter is aware of it, but yet he won't go out and say public what the issue is.
Yeah.
He's a minister for the West Coast.
He's saying I can't get through or I can't get any satisfaction. I essentially cannot be effective for you on this particular file.
He said, I spoke to the ministers on the file. They said, no resolution. Can't say public what the issues are. Look, I'm so frustrated as an MHA And Pete, the frustrating part is my third letter. I haven't even got an acknowledgement that they even received my letters.
Oh, they've received your letters. But listen, I'd be rotted too. I'm as much about the fact that I got no response and can't get any insight on it as about, the fact that I'm not going to lose my property and can't do anything with it. On both counts, this is highly unusual and unacceptable.
Can you imagine a resident, and I use a couple that I got, for example, who physically can't go there anymore, got to keep heat and light on just so if they ever are allowed to sell the property, can't get an answer why they can't sell. Got two people ready to buy their cabin, off taking care of their elderly people, can't get to the cabin, and they go, and there's no one will tell them why.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Tony Cornick and Dan Crowell should be totally ashamed of themselves. Now,
I'm calling them out right now. Give me a call. Tell us what's going on, and if you don't, we'll assume that you're covering something that's not right. It's wrong to keep people in the dark on something like this.
And now I CC'd Premier Davis today, so he's well aware of it now. His office is aware of it, because if you can't deal with the ministers, if it's a sewer issue, let the people know. Here's what we're working on.
I don't know why that would be something they couldn't speak up on. I can't imagine there's a lot of liability there, but I've been wrong before. I don't know.
Well, Pete, I know a lot of people who live down there. I deal with them, and Pete, they are so upset. They are so frustrated, especially where people just can't go there, and people live there wondering now, okay, what if I would try to sell? And you can't get an answer from a government you're supposed to serve people. It's mind-boggling to me. It's absolutely mind-boggling.
Okay.
And for Von Granter to send me an email and say, "Oh, I spoke to some of my residents, some of my constituents." Okay, if you did, you're the minister for the West Coast. Speak to everyone. Speak to everyone.
Mr. Joyce, we're going to put in another request right now to both of those ministers and see if we can get some response from them on this.
And Pete, on behalf of the people and the cabin owners, the ones that are stuck, thank you for allowing me to make this public, because that's the only way, hopefully, I'm going to get a response for the people.
Okay, sir. Thanks again.
Thank you.